Right, we're halfway through race night. Third qualifying heats have started, and it's fast and furious action here. We've got breakages, but this is one of the things I love about the sport. Everybody's mucking into help. So, new driver, our Gavin. There's a car at the bottom of the straight. Bonsoir racers. So Thursday just gone. So round 6 of the Mardave Madness, hosted by Ignition Raceway, and obviously sponsored by Mardave. So we were sporting a new shell with what I think will be my team colours. You know, a team of one. Anyway, the yellow and green sort of stripe. There'll be a refinement. Ignore the roadkill at the front of my car. That was a critical mistake when it came to painting. But yeah, I think it looks all right, and you can certainly see it going around the track. And to be perfectly frank, that's the main thing. So quickly run through what I'm still running for my Mardave for this series. I'm still favouring the 37s on the rear. However, I don't have any, so I did run the 40s for Q1, but I got hold of some 37s, and I've started running 37s for Q2, Q3, Q4 and the final. I'm still running 50s at the front. However, I did chunk one of my 50s, so I looked through my box of bits, as you do, and had a look to see what I had, and I actually had some 45s. So I ran those, and I actually thought they gave me quite a bit of positive front end grip, and I was quite pleased actually with how they handled. The only difference is that I did make, as opposed to the 50s, I usually source maybe, I don't know, a third to a quarter of the tyre to give me a bit more positive grip. I put no sauce on the 45s at all, and I was, to be honest, I'm going to try running these again because I was quite happy with how they performed. Just food for thought. I'm still running what is perceived as a slow motor with a 21, and I'm running a 50 16 pinion. Is it 50? Yeah. No, sorry, a 48 spur and a 16 pinion, and I don't think it's lacking for pace. It's just lacking for a little bit of driver talent, I think, still. But the car, I'm still really pleased with the car. I have made a modification, not a modification, but an adjustment to where I've got the screws, the limit screws set for the rear end pod. After a chat with watching one of the other cars, one of the A finals, because at the end of the day, they know what they're doing, and we're just, you know, weeing in the wind sometimes. Anyway, he quickly had a look over my car and recommended that I screw the screw all to the top. So I'm not, there's no preload now on these springs at all. They're as loose as I can get them. I'm going to say that made a difference. I think it did. Again, the problem at my level, and I'm sure I'm not the only driver at my sort of level, is any tweaks that you make. It'd be brilliant if you could have 20 laps absolutely perfect, make an adjustment and have the same 20 laps, and you can compare them like for like. My problem is I can't do 20 laps perfect, hitting the right line, hitting the right apex every single time. I'm just not at that level yet. We're getting there, I think, but I'm just not there yet. So when you make tweaks and changes and stuff, it's very difficult sometimes to work out where the actual benefits and time might be coming from. I'm still in the phase of just clean, consistent driving without any crashes and trying to hold tighter, more consistent lines through the corners. I think that's where the majority of my sort of time is being made and lost. So if that helps, there's plenty of drivers that are B and below standards wise like me. It's easy to get caught up making changes for the sake of it sometimes. I think, as I found with qualifying this time round, I've really struggled qualifying. I'll run through those in a minute, but there was a lot of, not so much issues, but snagging that I felt as though was going on. So yeah, sometimes you've just got to live with the car and try to modify your driving around it. Maybe not accelerate quite as hard coming out of the corner, or even keep power on through the corner a bit, so it's not loading and unloading the car a bit. There's so much that your driving style affects with the cars. Sometimes, so as the point I'm trying to make is, sometimes the modifications and tweaks you make with the car, it's nothing to do with the car. It's just you being consistent with the trigger, being calm, breathing smoothly. Don't get excited. Don't get in a rush with things. Just being consistent in how you drive the car with your throttle and steering, as opposed to any little tweaks you make with the car. And this ends today's lecture. Let's get into qualifying. Qualifying this week it was busy. The track was busy. We had 6 cars in each qualifying heat, which I'm going to throw it out there and say that was 1 car too many. I think with 4 qualifying heats, we could definitely have done with another run group of minis. 6 cars on the track at the same time. It felt busy. It was entertaining by any stretch of the imagination. There was always something going on. You were always either catching somebody or chasing somebody or crashing into somebody, or causing somebody issues. There felt like there was a lot of that going on. But I've got to admit, I don't necessarily put that down. There's the driver error, yes, but a lot of it is because it's a tight, small track. You don't get a lot of space in between the cars, and also with that, consider the difference in lap times between Group B, Group C isn't that much. So we're quite together on the track, really. There's not a big jump until you hit the lads who run in the A's. Everybody else is quite tightly packed on times and stuff, so that also contributes to it. Anyway, there's my sort of excuses out of the way. Q1 I ended up 8th overall with 31 laps, a best time of 10. My best 10 was 9.29. I'm reading off a script, that's why I'm looking down. My best lap time was a 9.13, and Q1 basically turned out to be the benchmark that I was trying to chase the rest of the night. Q2 I ended up with 31 laps again, but slower. It was 9.28 and 9.16 respectively, and I found myself in Q10 overall, so I qualified 10th in round 2, and that isn't necessarily me dropping, but that's everybody else learning from mistakes in Q1 and their standard rising. So if I'm not rising with them, then I'm falling behind. And Q3 was just a absolute disaster. I got entangled 2 or 3 times with different cars having issues, because I concentrate on my car and not necessarily the crisis that I'm driving into. So if that makes sense, you're that focused on your own car, you don't mean to come up on somebody and maybe bump into them, but because they're sideways on the track, you just don't see it quickly enough. And by the time you're at that person who's sideways on the track, you're on them and hitting them and tripping yourself up. As I say, nobody's fault. That's more, I need to be more aware of what's going on 2 meters in front of me and 2 meters behind me, so I can make more corrections, I think. Anyway, that was qualifying out the way. Let's get into the race. No, I'm not ready. So considering all the shenanigans with qualifying, I've actually ended up in 5th place for the B final, which overall is not a bad shout. And I certainly wasn't the only one to be having issues all night. Mark's really quick in that red car. Anyway, we're off. Loads of issues for that first corner, and I've managed to get myself into 2nd, so that's a really good shout. But Rob is well and truly breathing down my neck there. Just managed to gap him a little bit. He's quick. Rob's got a quick car. And I think he just tagged the back of me as I ran wide, and that spun me out. So, as every race, I am now at the back. And I do like a challenge, but I got to admit, my heart did sink a little bit from being 5th to go to 2nd. Hold that for 2 laps and then end up last. I was a bit demoralised. But head down, Brendan. Let's see what we can do. Howard usually emceeing on the mics. pretty much walking away with it. Now Mark in that red car, he's had an issue, and I've managed to sneak past him a lap ago. Now there, I was trying to carry some corner speed through that infield section. That seemed to work well, but I just can't always replicate it. Nice through that hairpin though. Steady for a few laps now. Yeah, still steady. I'm not bad on that infield section. I think a bit of confidence is growing with me in the car, and I'm trying to push it a bit harder.
Oh, sandbagging, mate. What I want to do is
I think I'm closing in now on what will be 4th, which is actually the hire car from Neo RC. So if you want to actually come and have a go, but you don't have a car, if you get in touch via Neo RC's Facebook page, I think you can put a name down for their hire car now, which is blisteringly fast because I'm struggling to catch it. And I think I'm being hunted down there. Is that second place that's trying to hunt me down? So I'm just about maybe closing in. If I can put some oh, I think that was a robust pass, I'll say. I think it was relatively clean. I didn't feel the need to have to give the place back to that, but I don't know. Put a comment below whether or not you think I should have done. I think it was just a bit of robust racing. Certainly struggling to drop him. Me and my plucky little Core 21 motor are working very, very hard against all these fast Satans. And I don't know. I think the paint job stands out quite well on the track. You can certainly see it coming. Very much John Deere colours. And I think it's a deer that I've crashed into at the front with the red. Ooh, now, who did I sneak past there? I think Rob's tangled with somebody. And I think that put me back into third place. So that's a good shout. So that's a really good recovery drive, really. It might have even put me up into second, I'm not sure. Did you see there, coming through the corner, it just seemed loose, and that was just turned in too soon. That was a mistake. And there's fast Howard. Very duck-like Howard. All serene and calm on the surface, but we know you're paddling like mad underneath. In fairness, I'll post the lap times afterwards. There wasn't a lot between any of us, really. Just mistakes now that are the difference. See, a bit of a mistake coming out of that corner. The marshals are really on the ball now because we've banned reversing. Everybody's really on the ball with the marshalling, so that if you get any problems and you can't recover yourself, the faster you can get marshalled, the better it is. And in fairness, everybody really tries. Well, see, and this is what I was talking about before. That accident at the bottom there happened without my knowledge, and that has really scuppered me. And I think that's put me all the way back in last again. Oh no, there's Mark in the red car, so definitely fifth, sorry. So with it all to do again. Oh, Rob span out a little bit there. He's been having loads of issues trying to do Tokyo drift around the corners. Then mine was there. I wonder what that is. Maybe I were doing it just in sympathy for Rob. Try to let Howard go there with plenty of room. Obviously, it's my channel, so I sort of... Oh, see, again, same corner. It just wanted to kick the back end out. Wonder what that is there. I couldn't see any chunks on the tyre or anything, so I couldn't work out why it would be wanting to do that. And if you can see there, I was just a bit more hesitant through the corners. And a bit of a shake of my head. I think that's frustration that I was pushing and doing alright, but then I had to ease off. And that's it. 6 minutes. Goes quickly. Definitely goes quickly. But yeah, you win some, you lose some. And I think I ended up in 3rd place. So not a bad recovery drive, really. I think the goals usually are to, if you can always finish higher than you start on the grid, you should really consider that a bit of a success. And therefore, if I started in 5th and finished 3rd, which I did, you know, I've gained 2 places, which is not to be sniffed at with the company that we're keeping. I'm plugging my battery there, and now it's my turn to go on Marshall. So guys, as I say, with how busy the track was, there was lots of little issues and bits and bobs, but yeah, I think the new paint job did alright. However, it has been pointed out that apparently blacking out the side windows at the back and the back window makes the shell illegal. I'm not sure illegal to who, but this has been duly noted. Thank you for pointing that out. Therefore, Mr. Mardave has got another 20 quid out of me, because I don't want to run an illegal shell. The last thing I want is to beat people and them say, oh, well, you were cheating because you had an illegal shell, because I'd blacked out those. Although, what I'm going to say is, surely that means I'm carrying more paint and therefore more weight, so I'm giving that person an additional advantage. Not that he needs it, but, you know, in the interests of being legal, I'll make sure I've ordered 2 new shells. And also, I am happy with the green and yellow. Maybe not the roadkill red at the front. But yeah, so I'm quite happy with the whole John Deere idea. So we'll run with that for the time being. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. If you got through to the end, please subscribe. Leave some actual positive comments in the comments in the YouTube channel. Really helps. And tune in next week. Ooh, and if anybody wants to see how I'm doing, tune into, well, not tune in, go on the RC results page, Ignition, for the Mardave Madness series on Thursday, and you'll see that I think I'm lying about 10th at the minute, but there's drivers that have done more rounds but not scored as many points. So next week we'll see a more accurate picture of the championship, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I've got to admit, 5th place, I might be clutching at straws to get 5th, but 6th or 7th, yeah, dead realistic that. And if I can hit that, I'll be really chuffed. I think that'll be a decent result. Right guys, tweedle pip. Bonsoir racers. So Thursday saw round 6 of the Mardave sponsored Super Sunday series. Wrong script. Have another drink. I don't know about being sponsored by a bloody car people. I'm out of whiskey. Get sponsored by somebody useful. Where's the frigging script gone? I believe there's a script.